Okay, live on YouTube now as well. Hopefully, we get a good caller soon. Yo,
Yeah, good
what's,
evening from here.
what?
I said good evening from here.
That's another thing. When they say where they're from, they're always matchmaking as well. There are 20 matchmaking pages on TikTok. Right. I get it, man. I get that these people are used to matchmaking, but I don't understand like why they don't read this shit right here. I never understand that. It is increasingly annoying. Okay, who is this?
Hello?
Hi.
Yes, sir, I have a question for you.
Okay.
How can I heal from a narcissistic relationship? Any advice?
How can you heal from a narcissistic relationship? What happened in that relationship?
I was married to one.
Okay. What happened in that relationship?
A lot of abused, cheating, hitting, you name it.
Okay. How long were y'all together?
7 years.
When did that type of abuse start?
Uh, the fourth year,
Okay.
it hit the peak at the fourth year.
So it was happening before the fourth year.
Actually, things got a lot worse when I had my daughter.
Okay. And how long have you been divorced or removed from that situation?
I'm a recent divorcer. Let's say about 2 months.
Oh, okay. This is.
I'm really struggling here, so any advice would be really helpful.
How are you struggling?
Thinking a lot about that. Also, I'm thinking to go maybe to a shrink to help me. I'm not sure what to do in this situation.
Like, what thoughts are you having?
Sorry, sir?
What thoughts are you having?
Um, Sad. Most of the time is sad. Crawling up into bed, crying, you name it, sir. Every bad feeling I had. So, I don't know. I just want to be better. I want to be able to move on. Get back to life, go back to work, laughing, go out,
Right.
stuff like this.
So what are you sad about?
Um, the years I wasted, I don't know, kept trying and trying and trying
Right.
all that time.
I got
I
you.
don't know, a lot of feeling mixed up. So I'm not sure what to do. Actually, any advice?
It sounds like your question is how do you're using the phrase like move
Sorry,
on.
sir.
I say you're using the phrase move on, but it sounds like the question you're asking is how do you make the pain stop?
Yeah, yeah.
If that's your question,
That is really the question.
right, the answer is you can't.
Uh,
It's just gonna
I
have
was
to
really
suck.
hoping for a different answer.
No, it's like that's life. You can't. That's like you losing a loved one and being like, how do I stop grief? You can't. You have to just persist through it.
Any idea for how long? Or
No, it's like you're probably going to feel sad for some time, love. Like you have to feel these emotions that you're feeling right now, actually experience them, and then over time they will decrease in intensity. But you don't get to shortcut the process.
oh, Okay. I was actually seeking to go to a therapist, maybe, or
Sure.
do you think that will help? Or
It's not gonna make the pain stop. There's nothing you can do that's healthy that will make the pain stop.
oh,
A therapist may help you process things, sure. May help you extract the lessons from the situation, may position you to not repeat the same mistake, but nothing's going to make the pain stop right now. You have to just kind of feel that and embrace the fact that it's going to suck for a little while.
yeah, yeah, that's very true. Okay, sir. Thank you for your help. Thank you.
All right, you have a good one.
Bye bye.
All right, let me see. Who else do we have? Quick question: why does it always seem you need to play games when dating? Um, it's likely due to the people that you're dating. It's normally why I feel that way, big dog. Like, one thing y'all have to understand is not everybody is having the same experience. There are people out here who are not experiencing dating as if they have to play games. And that's because they're dating a different quality person, right? So you got to kind of look at your current strategy and the people that you're entertaining. Like your profile pic. Appreciate you, love. That profile pic went platinum on dating apps. That new profile pic went platinum in these streets, huh? I had to go ahead and throw it up real quick for the one time. I think the reason why I went platinum is because it looks like I'm on a date. Okay. My ex bankrupted me and disappeared for my 8 months. Me for 8 months, and now she came back asking for forgiveness. Move on. Move on. Get out of there. Yeah, we got a lot of bots in the chat, it seems. But it seems like most people actively dating are trash hence the games. No, it's because most of y'all are using dating apps. I keep telling you. I think Elma, me and you have talked before, right? You use dating apps. It's because y'all are using dating apps. I'm telling you, that's what it is. You got to get off them shits. I'll ask people, how are you meeting people? And people with the biggest complaints is always dating apps or we met at the bar or the club. Like, what are we thinking? The best people are on dating apps because they don't need to be on dating apps. And you're certainly not likely to meet a serious person in a club. Met my husband on a dating app. What do you mean? Well, exactly what I just said, love. How long have you been married? And the exception does not disprove the rule. Also, the exception does not disprove the rule. Okay? All right? I tell you that most Asian men are under 6 feet. It doesn't matter if you point me to Yao Ming. He's the exception. Dating apps have progressively gotten worse as time has gone on. The shift occurred during COVID. Pre-COVID, dating apps were okay. After COVID, no. And every year after COVID, they have progressively gotten worse. That does not mean that it is impossible to meet someone good on a dating app. It's just not probable. You mentioned polarity in your videos. I understand that to mean masculinity and femininity. Yeah, that is technically polarity, but polarity is also asymmetry. So you're not doing the same things. You're not embodying the same role. A lot of people in dating scene right now are moving around with trauma and wounded thinking. Right. I thought Hinge was a reputable app for dating. No, it's not. It's not. He says, I love you, but how do I know he means it? He means it in long distance relationship. What needs to occur for you to believe him? Can you give some examples of when men should be in their femininity, if at all? It becomes like emotional connection. That is you tapping into your feminine as a man. My best friend said that people on dating apps are unable to meet people in real life. That's mostly true. Doesn't it depend on totality? If the majority of people are using dating apps, most fails. I don't think the majority of people are using dating apps. And also, I would add that the majority of people, you're basically saying your average person. You want to date your average person? No. No. That is not the way. Listen, let me explain to you. I like that there's new people here, even though it annoys me sometimes. Not because of them. It's just because I have to repeat myself so much. So let's look at this from like an economic perspective, right? Just a behavioral perspective. The environment that you are in influences your behavior. I'm going to say that again. The environment that you are in influences your behavior. So dating apps are an environment that you're putting yourself in. Thus, it influences your behavior. What behaviors is a dating app influencing? One, it encourages you to talk to more than one person at a time. That's the big one. It encourages you to talk to more than one person at a time. That creates a lot of issues. That creates the grass is greener mentality. That creates the paradox of choice, right? Which is the more choices someone has, the less likely they are to make one. Okay? That reduces the complexity of attraction, right? So dating apps don't factor in how we actually connect. It reduces you into one simple variable, which is how you look. In real life, you're not just factoring in how somebody looks, right? Like you're considering it. It is an important variable. It's not the only variable. On dating apps, it's the only variable, right? It changes who you actually will connect with. So women, generally speaking, especially if you're half decent looking, when you get on the dating app, you get so many men liking you. You get so many men liking you that it's overwhelming, right? I'm sure the women in the chat can agree with this. You get so many likes that it's overwhelming. So what does that do? It puts you in a place where you have to reduce your options. You have to reduce that number because it's so overwhelming, right? So how do you reduce that number? You start nitpicking on shit. You start nitpicking. That's how you reduce the number. You start swiping left on dudes for the smallest things. Because you have to reduce the number, right? You have to reduce the number. You can't seriously consider 2,000 men. So you have to reduce the number. And the only way to reduce, and you also can't talk to 2,000 men. So you have to reduce the number of small shit. He's 1 inch shorter than I would like. Next. He likes Nikes, not Adidas. Next. His shirt is too tight. Next. Right? His hairline's receding. Next. Right? Now, these men who you are nexting could be, if you met them in real life, you probably would like some of them. If you met them in real life, like if they were a coworker, they were someone you went to school with, they were someone who was just around, right? And you actually had the ability to talk to them, you would be able to take in more data and make a actual decision, an informed decision on who this person is, right? You can't do that on a dating app though, because you're just reducing your options. And then the only people who are left are like the best guys. But the best guys have the most matches. So if you match with them, you're now entering a roster by default because they're already talking to 20 other women. And you know where that ends up, where you end up in that situation? A situationship. That's why so many women are in situationships now, because of the dating apps. It is a outcome that is created largely in part by dating apps. Everybody's trying to punch above their weight, because why would you not, right? It's not even a bad thing. But it's like, if you're going to get on a dating app and there's like a smorgasbord of options, you're going to want the best options. The thing is, some of those best options are people who would never commit to you. They'll sleep with you for sure. They would never commit to you, because in real life, y'all would never link up for real. In real life, y'all would never pair up. Y'all are literally only pairing up because it's a dating app. And that's just one reason why I say not to use dating apps. That's just one. I have like 10. That's not really how it works, though. Yes, it is. What are you talking about? What do you disagree with? That's 1,000% how it works. That's not the only outcome. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that's the only outcome from a dating app. Obviously, there are other outcomes. People get into relationships. People can get married. I'm telling you what happens a lot, right? That happens a lot. Not saying majority of people did this, but I reduced it by who was Christian in their approach. That's good. That's good. That still like leaves a lot of options though. How long have you been married? Not so dolo. I'm curious. Did you get married like pre-COVID or after COVID? One year? Okay, nice. Which app did y'all meet on? Hinge? I'm assuming not Tinder. Like the best people on dating apps, by the way, if you're going to use them, because so many people like listen to my dating app rants, but they're like, I'm still going to use them shits. Do what you want. The best people, though, are the people who just joined the apps. The high quality people tend to leave within like a 2-week to 1 month time span, because they just get annoyed with the experience, right? The biggest red flags on dating apps are the people who are consistently on them. Any books you read recently on masculinity? Listen, I am one. You should just get a coaching call, bro. You don't get my knowledge with books, okay? If you want your 1 hour coaching call, this link, this icon right here, it's a button at the bottom of the page. Hit that, send me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, Danny, you're making noise over there, big dog. If I can help you, I will send you a link to book your call. Be advised, though, prices are going up at the end of the month, all right? So I wouldn't waffle on that. If you want your call, go ahead and get it, because prices are going up at the end of the month. Okay. Danny, what's happening, big dog? You over there sweeping? What you doing?
Sweeping? Hey, how's it going? No, I was brushing my dog. She's shedding a whole nother dog here, so...
What kind of dog do you have?
Handle that before vacuuming. Talking about the dating app stuff, that reminded me of the paper I wrote a few months back on kind of like the objective observations made from how people behave when they use dating apps. Like, it's just factually true that when you're on a dating app, you're going to be looking at specifically looks.
Right.
I think I have to pull the paper up again, but they looked over hundreds of people, men and women, that use the apps, and a lot of it just kind of shifts into looks shopping.
Right.
They're not really evaluating based on character or intelligence or social skills.
Right.
And that carries on even in through like multiple dates with a person. So even if you go on more than a few dates, you're still in that evaluation based on aesthetics, not based on the things you would usually look at when you meet people in static environments and such.
Right. Right. It's just a lot of shallow connections. But it's like you can't help but to evaluate off of looks because there's not really much to go off of.
Right.
Like, yeah, you can answer a prompt, but like that ain't giving you much data. You don't get to assess the person's vibe or energy. So people are selecting off of looks and looks alone, or just, you know, how their ability to take a good photo.
Right. And that lack of like a somatic connection carries on even when you start going on dates with people. The longer you use dating apps, you just kind of train your brain to look at partners in that fashion. Which is why, kind of to your point, you kind of hit the nail on the head on a lot of it. Which is why, like, you really want to look for people that are only on there for like a few weeks max. You don't look for the people that have been on the apps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when I got up there, especially for men, I just tell them, pay for one. Just pay the monthly shit. And like put it in order from people who just joined. The new here, right? That way you're automatically capitalizing upon like people who probably just moved to the area. There's like certain ways to optimize for like the quality people. Like you could find like a tier 3 person, not tier 3, but stage 3 woman on a dating app who just moved to your area. She's trying to meet people, and the dating app is her way of just making social connections.
Mm-hmm.
So, but you're certainly the person's been there for months, man. No, I promise you.
Right.
I promise you that's not it. I promise you that's not it.
Yeah. I feel like I hop on maybe once every year or two, and sometimes you'll be swiping and you'll see like the same people up there.
Same people.
You're like,
oh my God.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, you're up there too. It's like, that's not, you think we just both download the app at the same time? No, this person has just been static on the app for years, more than likely.
Living in the elephant graveyard.
Right. And it's like, I wish people had that level of discernment, bro. Like, there was a woman who I saw on a dating app. She had a follow, probably like 50,000 followers on social media, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And beautiful girl too. I don't know, what do you need a dating app for? Like, what do you need a dating app for? It doesn't make any sense to me. If you have a social media following, why do you need that?
Right.
It doesn't make logical sense to me.
Attention.
It's not even
validation.
No, because they get enough attention from social media. It's like a lot of those people happen to be insufferable, or their standards are sky high. It's one of the two. And people with sky high standards also tend to be insufferable. Those two traits go together.
That's true.
So normally they're insufferable people. They're not likable. They're not likable at all. I've talked to women on dating apps, and it's like pulling teeth, and I'm a conversationalist.
Right.
I'm thinking of one woman in particular who I knew had a crush on me because we worked in like the same building before, and I already knew she was feeling me. I just was dealing with someone at the time. And like talking to her on the app, it was like pulling fucking teeth. Oh, someone said they can't hear me. Can y'all still not hear me? I hope it's not happening again from last night. TikTok's been on one lately, bro. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
Throwing a temper tantrum.
Okay, cool. So, but it was like pulling teeth, bro. I'm like, so I just stopped talking to her, and then she unmatched. And I know in her world, the way she probably described it was like, he stopped talking to me. You just have no personality.
Right.
You have zero personality, and you have no awareness of it.
That's something I've picked up on. Some connections. Usually those ones are pretty quick. They're pretty in and out. But yeah, I find a lot more of those on the apps than I would in person. Usually the people I meet in person are a lot more engaging.
That's
They're
because
more like normal people.
yeah, and they're likely not on the app because a lot of, like I was saying, this is a whole nother. Did she have more personality in person? I never talked to her in person. I just kept seeing her like stare at me, so I knew it was gonna be a layup. But it was like, but talking to her, I was like, oh, I just lost attraction because I'm like, you're boring. Oh my god, if you're this boring here, like you're gonna be super boring on a date. I do not want to sign up for carrying the conversation all the way through. So, what was I about to say? Oh, there was a woman who called in the other day and she was like, she feels like a lot of guys who she meet aren't really interested in her. And I was like, why do you say that? And she said, because they aren't asking me any questions on dates. And I said, sometimes that can be disinterest, but a lot of times it's just a lack of social skills.
Yeah.
They just don't know to ask you questions, right? And I said, where do you think is the number one place to meet people who don't have social skills? A dating app. A dating app. You're certainly not going to meet them in a social interaction. They avoid those, right? They avoid those because they don't have social skills, right? So the people with no social skills get on dating apps because they need an alternative way to meet people.
Right, like it's their only way of meeting people too. Like that's something that kind of throws me off too. Sometimes you talk to people and it's like that's their only source of meeting romantic partners, and like you don't meet people in real life. You don't go to events and you just bump into someone. Like that shit doesn't happen. You just meet everyone on apps. Like it's crazy work.
It's becoming more normalized. Like with the younger generation, I saw a guy make a video recently, and he was like, he's never approached a woman in person before. He's only slid in DMs.
Jeez.
And it made me think about like how common that may be now.
Yeah, I've noticed, not to discriminate, but the Zoomers are a little lacking in social aptitude.
Right. It's unfortunate,
they're
man.
Slow with it.
It's unfortunate because of like how important it is.
Yeah. Crucial, especially if you want relationships. Gotta have at least some social skills.
Because life is all about relationships, not just like romantic, right, but also platonic.
Right.
So your quality of life improves when you are able to formulate relationships with people. If you can't, like everything becomes easier. Even biblically, like you are a better Christian if you have an intimate relationship with God, right? Relationships are very important. Connections are very important. But people are so siloed nowadays that skill has atrophied.
Yeah.
And it impacts impacts every area of your life. The people I know most socially connected, guess what? If they get unemployed, they don't have to hop on LinkedIn. They just tap into their network and let their network know, hey, I'm looking for a job. The easiest way to get a job is to know someone who's already working there. The easiest way to get a job is to know someone already working there. So it's like you have to know people. You have to stop being just isolated. Even if you're an introvert, people like to hide behind the introvert word. Introversion does not mean you can't have social skills.
Right. It's like an endurance thing. It's not a skills or aptitude thing. That's all there is to it. It's just kind of like an excuse or mask to not participate or not face the discomfort of putting yourself out there.
Right. 100%.
I've been calling it cyber psychosis, like any kind of overexposure to digital content, whether that's dating apps or porn or social media. It just has a negative long-term effect.
Right.
If you're consistently on it for unproductive reasons.
Right. No, I agree. It's not, it's definitely a net negative experience for sure. Like you have to connect with people. And then that's why I always say, like, people think that they have a dating problem. What they really have is a social problem. So if they were to treat this dating problem like it's a social problem, they likely would have better results.
Right. Just putting yourself into like an activity you like doing, finding other people that do it.
Like, you don't even need, like, if we're talking about men, right? You don't even like. Of course, I teach game and stuff like that, but you don't even need all that game if you just know enough people.
Right.
You'll just
You
luck up.
inevitably-
You'll luck into a relationship. You'll get lucky.
Yeah.
If you just make it your role to just engage people and be around a lot of people, you'll just luck up, right?
Yeah.
No matter what type of woman you want, either. Like ultimately, it's a marketing problem. If enough people know you, and think about it like that. Like even if you're not the best looking guy, if enough people know you, there's at least one baddie out there who you're her type, right?
Right.
There's at least
Right.
one. At least one. There's at least one beautiful woman who's like Seth Rogen is hot.
Yeah. Yeah. I was I was kind of surprised, especially before I lost a lot of weight, at what kind of girls took a liking to me just for being outside, and socializing. You'll be surprised at what happens when you just show up to things, the opportunities that present themselves.
Right. So yeah.
But I've always been kind of more of a social person, I guess. I was always in kind of extracurricular activities outside of school and stuff. I grew up playing a lot of sports, so I think I was definitely conditioned to be more social and to put myself out there.
Right. Yeah, that's very important. It's like just you gotta fellowship, man. You gotta connect with people. Maya just said that Adam Sandler look kind of fine now. You see? It's little shit like that. Like you know enough people. It's really just a marketing problem at the end of the day. You just know enough people, have enough people be aware of you. That's why I tell guys, I'm like, post on social media, man. Why are you not posting?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just a couple Canon pics. You're doing some fun stuff. Can go a long way.
Anyway, it's not as complicated as people make it seem, but there's a couple of similarities with people who complain. Especially if their complaint is like finding options. It's always, if I ask them questions, it's always a social issue. I'm like, what do you spend your time doing? I just work and go to the gym. Okay, well, I think we've discovered your issue.
Yeah.
Ta-da, we've discovered your problem. You're like a business owner who's like, I'm not selling any of my products. And I'm like, what's your marketing budget? And you're like, I don't have one.
Oops.
Oh, so you're not doing any marketing, Mr. Business Owner? You have a product, no customers. I ask you how much marketing you're doing, and you tell me none? Well, of course you don't have any customers. Because you got to market, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you have to invest in it, in yourself, and what you're selling, whether it's you or your business or romance. You got to make an effort to show yourself, have people see you and what you have to offer.
Right. Right. All right, bro. Let me get to this next caller. I appreciate you coming up, Dan.
Yep.
All right. Who we got next? This is...
Hello.
What's going on?
Hello.
What's going on, man?
Hi, how you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
I'm fine. I'm good. I just stumbled on you. This is my first time here, actually.
Okay.
All right. So, talking about dating sites, as far as I'm concerned, I think it has lost its primary essence. Dating sites have lost their primary essence. And why did I say this? I think it is now a place where people go to find, short-term pleasure. Somebody they want to have fun with, somebody they want to, just connect with for a short period of time, not necessarily something long-term. And I'm saying this because of the paradox of choice, right? Having the belief that, if I go there, I have a lot of people on there who I could talk to and have a lot of options to work with. I have, the tiny ones, I have the skinny ones, I have the, chubby ones, I have the sexy one, I have the light skin, the dark skin and all. You can always see them there. And another thing I have to say is that you can't deduce who a person is on a dating site. You just can't. And why can't you? It is because, people portray themselves better than they are in the real life on social media or on any dating sites particularly. And when it comes to when it comes to pictures and videos and all, you post the best possible pictures you have on social media. You post the best possible videos of yourself on dating sites, and this is not who you are in person. And when you write about yourself, that description box, or you write all about yourself, you tell people you're down to earth, you're this, you're that, and all of that. It does not conform with reality. You understand? So I think that dating sites over time has lost its essence. It is not as efficient as probably how it started. When it started, you could have people with genuine intentions, seriously seeking to be with somebody. But now, a lot of people just go there and be like,
All right, big dog. The Moz muted you because this is really for questions. So do you have a question? Because you're kind of like rehashing the same points we've already covered. You can unmute yourself and respond to that. Did he leave or did somebody take him down? I wasn't paying attention. He was removed? Okay. I get it. Like, oh, Tom, let's just be redundant. Yeah, like if people can sometimes come up if they just want to like share a point, that's fine. I have no problem with that because sometimes I can riff with them, but don't just rehash points that's already been made. I knew where we were going once he said the paradox of choice. I'm like, all right, well, we're about to hear a lot of what we already heard before. We'll hear a lot of the same points being made here. But yes, dating apps are... I've never heard nobody make my reputation point, though. That's my contribution to the space. But... oh, feeling down today, struggling, waiting on my partner long distance, afraid he's losing interest. What do you mean you're waiting on him? Waiting on him to do what? I am one. I see that you requested to come up. You've already had 2 conversations. Again, big dog, you're going to have to purchase a coaching call. We don't let people up more than twice without purchasing a coaching call. Okay? So after you purchase a coaching call, it resets and you can get 2 more free call-ins. You have to do that because a lot of people will call in over and over and over again and never pay. You're at Sam's Club right now. These are free samples. That's what you get here, free samples. You do not get the full meal. You got to pay for the full meal. Okay? I'm glad the Moz kept me to that because I tend to be a bit too giving. A bit too, here, have everything for free. It's like, no. Now, as I said, if you do want your 1-hour coaching call, be advised prices are going up at the end of the month. So I would book now if I were you. And those are prices across the board. So, I talked to certain people about the implementation package. It's also going up. All prices are going up. I already raised the price of the course. Once you're in a static environment, how do you navigate that space? Okay, I'll answer that, Gigi. I've already raised the price of the course. So, and prices are going to keep going up too. This won't be the first or last time I raise them. So just be advised. Danny, what do you mean your throat is still recovering? That is a wild phrase to make. Your throat is still recovering. Wow. Need you to proofread that, big dog. Big pause. Okay. He sent that in the mod chat. Had to expose him real quick. What do you mean? You couldn't just say you were recovering from the flu? I'm sick. I'm still recovering from the flu. My throat is still. And then he said that to CJ, by the way. He said that to CJ. My throat is still recovering. So, I don't know if that implies anything about CJ, ladies, but if y'all are curious, CJ is single. So if you too want your throat to need recovering, you should holler at him. Be advised that he does not like Drake, so car rides won't be very enjoyable. Pretty annoying car rides, I would say. Boom, bop, bam. Just listen to, imagine driving the highway, you in traffic, and the midget is yelling boom, bop, bam in your ear. I would lose my shit immediately. That would be my 13th reason. You in traffic, it's hot, your AC broke, and a Squabble Up comes on. Oh, buddy. That would be my 13th reason for that. Anywho. Let me see. I like Kendrick. I just got to piss CJ off a little bit. Because CJ's a big Kendrick fan. CJ's a big Kendrick fan, but I gotta, I gotta let him know the place in the hierarchy. Right? You gotta know your place. Gotta know your place. All right, what other kind of questions do we have? Oh, Gigi said how to navigate a static environment. As a woman, I would just show yourself as friendly. Just talk to people. Be open to platonic connections. Be open to romantic connections. If you were a man, I would take it over. If I was a man who was looking or desiring a relationship, I would take over the static environments. By take over, I mean is like be one of the guys, one of the main guys there. It is not hard to be one of the guys. It's really not. Most men are operating at a very low level of agency. So if you go to the gym or any other static environment, just be cool with everybody. The best thing you can do as a man is to be a social leader, meaning you're the reason why people know each other. So that's what I'm doing with this live. When y'all connect with people in this live, I'm the reason why y'all met, right? Top of the food chain, because it's my space. If you're like throwing your own party or something like that, you're automatically him because it's your party. I was telling one of my clients that recently because, he's in the church. A lot of people know him in the church and he's looking for a potential wife there. And I'm like, you're young, bro. Just be you should spearhead the socializing. Just plan things. Plan like a movie night. That ain't hard. Just be the reason why people are getting together. Have some agency. What's missing is fucking agency, man. Just make shit happen. It's not hard. It's not hard. Make shit happen. Be the reason why things happen. Most people are just too lazy. I remember one of my old jobs. I was hungry one day at the job. And I was like, you know what we should do? We should do like a potluck. Y'all like a potluck? They were like, yeah, it's just because I was hungry. I'm hungry. We should do a fucking potluck. All right, next week, let's do a potluck. Tuesday, we need people to bring the savory, we need people to bring the sweets, right? And we're not just playing the potluck, and now they still do that. That was like 6 years ago, and now they still do potlucks there because I was hungry one day before lunch and told people, let's do a potluck. There's a little small example. But like, just take initiative, man. Get into your masculinity. Just do shit. Do shit for the sake of doing it. Danny started speed dating just because he wanted to. Like, you have free will. You can just do shit. If you're like a cinephile, like start a movie lovers group. Just start one. And invite people out. Right? This shit is not difficult. Any run club that y'all join, it's just one person one day was like, I think we should just start a run club. I just told people about it. So for men, I always advise to be like, to either take over the static environment or make their own. CJ starting the Drake hate club. That's unfortunate. It'd be a bunch of dudes who do not do well with women. Drake said that a long time ago. People who hate him typically don't do well with women. Because that's why they don't like his music. Because it's not relatable to them. And it's not relatable to them because, fill in the blanks, that's why it's not relatable. But they like Squabble Up because they take their frustrations of not getting women out on other men. So they want to just fight people. Not for dating, but building a community. Same approach. Gigi. Same approach. Yeah, guys, man, y'all can organize beach trips and get all the shorties to go to the beach in droves. Right. Right. I always wondered why men hated on Drake. Yeah, because they don't do well. It's just a projection. They don't do well with women. I've never seen a guy, I promise you, 100%, never seen a guy who like did well with women who was like, I don't like that guy. It's never happened. It's always, let me chill out. Because TikTok already warning me about some shit. But normally, that's the reason why. Yeah, Gigi, you should. You should build. What are you thinking about building? Like your own hiking group or something different? What about women who don't like Drake? I don't know many women who don't like Drake, to be honest with you. Mindfulness body movement. It's normally masculine women. For sure. That's a turnoff to me, by the way. Like a woman who like listens to like very hard, like I don't think I would ever be attracted to a woman who listens to like battle rap. Did you hear what he said, son? He said, your mother, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, ugh, that give me the ick. Like spiritually, you're a Timberland. You're a Timberland boot. You're not a woman to me. Like spiritually, you're a Timberland boot. I would not have any fun dating a woman like that. Heights and run thinking part. Yeah, Gigi, you should do it. You can do, what was the app that I used to use? I forget the name. Let me see. I might still got it on my iPad. It was like a social app where you can like start groups like that. Meetup was the name of the app. I also like Facebook groups. Of course you listen to Battle Rap Super. Of course you do. Drake is actually feminine to me. Creativity is feminine, so any artist is tapped into their feminine nature, including Kendrick. added this term from dating advice to rap beef because I just talk about whatever's on my mind, to be honest with you. And people are so bad at asking fucking questions here that I have to fill in the gaps with rants. There are a million masculine guys tapped into their creativity. You do know that both men and women have both a masculine essence and a feminine essence. So you could be a masculine man who's tapped into femininity by being creative. Like the role of being the mother, you have to tap into both. You mean like a single mother? Sure. Yes, Drake, way too heavy on the feminine energy. People are real bad at like identifying male energy and feminine energy. Like masculinity and femininity. They're really bad about it. I'll give you an example. A lot of women tend to think that hood dudes are masculine. They're feminine. They're not masculine. They're feminine. Most of them. Because they can't control their emotions. They're reactive. They're basically spiritually their mother, but like in a man body. So they grew up seeing their mother being very emotional and reactive, right? And yelling. They learned that. And now it manifests differently in like a man body. But some women see that and they're like, they associate that with masculinity, and it's not masculinity. We have a hit doll that's hollering. Fetty, are you a hood dude who's feminine? Per your profile pic, I would say that you're exactly who I'm talking about. And you're proving my point, because look how mad you just got. That's right. Keep calling me, sir. Know your place. This is a fact. I watch tons of true crime. Right. It's just a fact. It's very much a fact. What are healthy expectations in repair and communication in relationships? What are healthy expectations in repair and communication in relationships? Desmond, can you rephrase that? I think I understand what you're saying, but that's a good distinction, Super. That's a real good distinction. Yeah, there's a difference between being from the hood and being of the hood mentality. 100%. 100%. Okay, I'm just going to address it because I don't know if Desmond is in the place where he can expound. What are healthy expectations and repair and communication? So I expect, remember, if we look at capacity, right? When it comes to repair, you have low capacity, moderate capacity, high capacity, right? So you have people say, well, I can't date an avoidant. I can't date an anxious person. I can't date a fearful avoidant. You can. They just need to have higher capacity, right? So you can tell there's two ways to test somebody's capacity. Being intimate with them, not physically intimate, but like getting closer to them. That tests people's capacity. If you notice with certain like avoidant or anxious people, they will run, right? They will run if you get too close to them, right? The other way to test capacity is conflict. So if there's any friction, right? Some people, they expect relationships to be easy. So once there's like any kind of problem, they'll run. Okay. So we're talking about repair. Somebody who has high capacity will stay engaged with you even during conflict, even during closeness. Even if they want to run, they'll stay engaged. Someone with moderate capacity, they will need to regulate, right? So if there's conflict or an issue in the relationship, they may create a little bit of distance, but you'll notice within 24 to 72 hours, they'll return to the connection and be open to repair, maybe even initiate it. Low capacity people will run and stay going, or they'll come back and be different. They'll just come back and be different, right? So a good expectation, like Desmond, is to know the capacity of the person you're dealing with so that you can know how to handle them. If you're dealing with someone you know has moderate capacity, then just understand that if conflict is occurring, they may need 24 to 72 hours. You just know that. That way you're not kind of surprised or questioning what's going on. You just already know, like, okay, this person is going to take them this range of time to like have a conversation. Like I told y'all, when it comes to avoidantly attached people, the two magic phrases to them is no pressure and no rush, right? If you want to like navigate a conflict with them, no pressure, no rush. So you can bring up the fact that you have an issue you want to discuss, but then let them know to come to you when they're ready to talk about it. That way you give them that 24 to 72 hour window where they can actually come to you and have that discussion. So what you'll learn is there aren't really many blanket like pieces of advice. When people try to apply advice to everyone, you miss the forest from the trees, right? It's really, how do I read this situation that I'm in with clarity so I know how to play it? Ultimately, you have to know the person that you're with. And you have to be able to navigate your connection with that specific person. Not have like a blanket solution for all your problems. That's what a lot of this advice is for. It's like you get to, we talk about like the stages and stuff like that. That's just another way for you to have more clarity of who you're dealing with. So you A, know what to expect, and B, know how to engage them. So if I'm dealing with a woman, I'm going to know like what stage she's at. I'm going to know what her attachment style is, more than likely. And that gives me a good way to orient myself in the connection in a way that I hopefully don't trigger her a lot, right? And if she is triggered, it also informs me of like the best way to engage with her. Sounds like how you bring the fun out of it as well, right? A lot of this stuff is like the answer is it depends. When people call in and they ask me questions, it's like I have to ask them a lot of questions because I can give you 10 different answers. But in your specific situation, I need to know the context because ultimately it depends. So let me get a lot of information out of you. That's why a lot of these other people who do what I do, who get on these lives and answer questions, me and Danny were talking about this. They're so bad at it because they give the answer too fucking fast. Have y'all seen that? Have you been on other like dating and relationship? What's up, Groove? Other dating and relationship lives, and the person will ask a question and then the host immediately answers it. That's the sign that they like have black and white thinking. There's no nuance. It's black and white thinking. Then you come here and I'll ask you 30 questions. I'll ask you 30 questions before I give you an answer. Because it depends on the situation. Should women have male friends? Okay. Are these friends exes? How long has she known them? What's the context of which she knows them? Right? And let's peel the layers back. Peel the layers back. Right? It always depends. Appreciate you, love. How do you know when to be patient and when to walk away? Really? That's downstream of you knowing yourself. I was talking to a client the other day, and he was talking to me about boundaries and stuff like that. And his therapist was like, you should have boundaries. And I was like, all respect due to your therapist. You need to know who you are first. Your identity is what gives birth to your boundaries. How do you know what your boundaries are if you don't even know what you're protecting? Boundaries are meant to protect you. You don't even really know who you are. So you don't even know what you're protecting at the end of the day. Right? Oh, dog, what's next is book the implementation package. Then we'll continue our work together. So you learn yourself, you get a good understanding of who you are, you know your values, you get deeply rooted in your identity, right? And then from that, you know what boundaries to set. From that, you know who to choose. You know who you're compatible with. You can't even know who you're compatible with until you know who you are. So to go back to the original question, how do you know when to leave? You know who you are first. You know who you are, you know what you'll tolerate. You know what works for you and what doesn't work for you. Appreciate you, love. If the situation looks like it's not in alignment with what you need in a connection, then you leave. Can we book a session for only 21? If you got the money on for it, absolutely. Absolutely, Nick. So, again, this icon right here, you hit that button at the bottom of the screen, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link to book your 1-hour coaching call. Again, people, this is paid and prices are going up across the board at the end of the month, okay? So for the people who've talked to me about the 1-hour coaching call, for the people I've talked to about the implementation package, at the end of the month, the prices are going up on all those things. So if you want to lock it in at the current price, go ahead and do what you need to do. And I say the prices are going up at the end of the month. The more accurate description is once all of my slots for this month are filled, prices are going up. Whatever comes first. Either I get booked for all of this month or the end of the month comes. If people come up and take all those slots and it's like the 18th of the month, prices are still going up. What's up, Daffy? What's going on? What's going on? All right, what other questions do we have? Ask the juicy ones, man. Ask the real juicy questions. check something real quick. We just got monetized on YouTube, so we're definitely about to turn up on that platform. So if you're not on YouTube, make sure to subscribe on that as well. Link in bio for that. You also catch the replay of these lives on YouTube. What's a juicy question? Just something that's like not surface level. Can a casual relationship work? What do you mean by work? How are we defining the word work in that sentence? Appreciate you, Diamond. I'm not technically monetized yet. I've submitted the application to be monetized because I've hit all of the requirements for it. So glad you don't push red pill logic. Right. It's not helpful, man. It's divisive. Productive for both involved. Okay. You just kind of swap words there. What outcome are you looking for? Let me rephrase. What outcome are you looking for in a casual relationship that will lead you to believe that it works? You talk a lot about discernment that takes time. How do you discern women that take accountability? They take accountability. You see them take accountability, right? Like, how do you discern an honest woman? She tells the truth. You don't see her lie. How do you maintain a relationship where your conflict strategies are different? What are the different conflict strategies? What does that look like? For when y'all ask a question, just know I'm going to answer your question with a question because I need you to get to the point where I can mentally see what you're talking about. If I can't mentally see exactly what you're talking about, I'm going to ask you for more information. A picture should be in my head about the situation you're asking the question on. What's real masculine and feminine from your view? They're like energies, orientations. They're not activities. So orientations are how you approach things. So masculinity is about structure, order, leadership, direction, purpose, future orientation. Femininity is about like present moment awareness, expansiveness, right? Feeling, nurturing. Creativity. Chaos, even. A partner who avoids conflict versus a partner who wants to discuss the issue right then and there. Okay? So the person who wants to discuss the issue right there and then and there has to be able to hold and tolerate ambiguity. So not having a immediate solution. So they would have to tell the conflict avoidant person that they have something they want to discuss and give them time to come back to the conversation. There are plenty of women who are leaders. Did I say that wasn't the case? Oh, you think when I say femininity, then that means woman and masculinity means man. No. Both men and women have femininity and masculinity. But then in the situation about masculine and feminine, especially an argument, put what in the situation? Okay, good. I agree with that. Okay. Glad you agree with it. You ready for this one, though? Men tend to be better leaders, generally speaking, because they tend to be more in touch with masculinity. I like how I got you back on my side and now I'm pushing you away again. Immediately. Yeah, hate to break it to you. It's typically how it plays out, unfortunately. Do you think more men are becoming too feminine and losing masculinity? Yes. For sure. Some will say it's like an intentional thing. So we got to put on like your tinfoil hat real quick. With a woman's guidance. I agree with that, Mimi. Because like wisdom is feminine in nature. I think that's a great partnership. You have a really wise woman who's advising the man who is occupying the leadership position. Great combination. Men have and will always be the inferior leaders. They lead with ego. You're a good example. Okay. That's your opinion, love. That's why the woman is the COO. Right. Right. Because nobody executes better than a woman once she's given instruction. Once she's given instruction, like structure for a woman is regulating. It's regulating typically. A feminine woman. Let me be clear. A feminine woman. Structure for a feminine woman is very regulating. So when people are like, oh, women are outdoing men because they're getting their degrees, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, of course they are. They're entering an environment that is primed to match how they do things, right? Woman goes to college and she's feminine, she'll likely excel because there's structure there. She's told what to do. She can execute very well there, right? Enough of that. Enough of what? No. We're not limiting what I'm saying. This is 100% accurate. This is how femininity and masculinity works. You don't get to agree with it when it's like a comfortable, situation, and then disagree when it's like uncomfortable. Masculinity and femininity are 100% these things. Masculinity is structure. Femininity is not structure, right? Okay, I'm good, Hannah. I was about to say, you about got me in my soapbox for a second. This is how it works. But it's like, it's complementary, right? They complement one another. Men are nothing without women. Women are nothing without men. Or the masculine is nothing without the feminine, and the feminine is nothing without the masculine. You need both to work together. But for some reason, you look at one side as being like worse than the other. That's stupid. They're equally needed. They're equally needed. But there are some women who are masculine. So they're going to be like the structured people, right? And there's some men who are feminine and they're going to be the type to need structure. That's why like you'll get some women who are more masculine, not like naturally more masculine, but more masculine like because they have to be. They'll desire a masculine man, but they don't understand that like they'll be off-putting to him. Because if you get two masculine poles in a relationship, conflict is the natural result. Someone has to play the feminine role. Yeah, I don't particularly want to be this masculine. Right, a lot of women though. There's not a lot of naturally masculine women, just like there's not a lot of naturally feminine men. But typically men have more yang energy, women have more yin. Right. The vast majority of the sexes are going to like have a, like most men are going to have a masculine core, most women are going to have a feminine core. But the environment can like condition them to like lean more into a certain orientation, right? So if you have a woman who doesn't have a father at home and then maybe she grew up poor and she really has to bust her ass to like make it for herself, like she's kind of forced into being a bit more masculine. Even though it's not her natural setting. Yeah, capitalism is masculine for sure. For sure. Is it bad if my fiance femsplains often? Femsplains is hilarious. After arguments and tells me to be a man, I would say so. Society's nature naturally brings that masculine side, right? Even where you are located can be like feminine or masculine, right? So like New York is masculine. New York City is a very masculine city. And like Hawaii is feminine. Or any place where there's like a bunch of nature is feminine. Philly too. Philly's masculine. All right. Doesn't mean if you live in New York you're masculine. It just means the city itself is masculine. You're probably going to tap in more to your masculinity living in a masculine place. ATL? I don't know about ATL. I don't know about Atlanta, Maya. You could probably say masculine. Because this doesn't have anything to do with sexuality. You can take a gay man and he will be very masculine. Those two things don't like contradict one another. Just making sure I'm not the problem. Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, it's good to understand like this masculine feminine principle because a lot of problems with relationships nowadays are there's a lack of polarity, right? So remember, polarity is mostly predicated on asymmetry. So there's differences in the connection. You're playing different roles. But in today's time where we talk about like 50-50 and stuff like that, not that there's anything wrong with that, because it's probably needed in today's economy, but it does decrease polarity. Because you're both playing the same role. what increases polarity is you understanding what polarity is and then leaning into that. So if I'm on a date with a woman, I'm leading the date. That's how I create asymmetry in that connection, right? So I'm leading where we go. I'm leading the experience, right? If we're having a conversation, I put my focus on her. You know, some people, they'll like ask a question and then the person answers the question and then they'll pretend like the woman asked them the question and they'll answer it as well. Being thoughtful about polarity, I'll just take the role of the observer and then she takes the role of the observed. So that creates polarity. I hate for a man to lead with that 50-50, especially to a woman who has her own. Yeah, but you got to also understand it, though, Maya, because I get what you're saying. It's like what they say, seek first to understand, then to be understood, right? So I always lead with curiosity, even if I disagree. So most women nowadays are afraid of like men just want to sleep with them and that's it. Fair? That's like the fear of a lot of single women. You just want to sleep with me, right? You have to ask yourself, what is the fear of most men? The fear of most men is being used. Like, you don't like me for real, you're just trying to use me. So that's why they'll like lean on 50-50 conversations and stuff like that. It's a way for them to feel like they're protecting themselves. It's almost like a woman who would agree with that is someone who like is really rocking with them. I feel like I come from the perspective that I want you here, I don't need you here. Yeah, that's how you should. That's a healthy place to be. For women, it's use of their body. For men, it's use of their funds, right? Or of their attention, validation. It's not always financial in nature. It's really like both sides are too aware of how the other side moves. We don't need any of that though. Ro, you're projecting. You may not need any of that. Are you denying that there's a lot of broke women out there? A lot. Most women are broke. It's like most men are. Have you seen the economy? You don't need any of that. You don't. Do not speak for all women. Some men use women for money too, and some women be on men's bodies too. Users are users. Facts, Super. Great point. Great point. But they're like immediately on that because we're on a date and you're paying like you should do. Yeah, it's just both sides are just too educated on like, Chance, if you need something, go ask Avery. Hey, Chance, if you need something, go ask Avery. Yeah, you can have a snack. Go ahead, get one. They're saying we're too aware of others. We should focus on ourselves. I don't know if you understand what the points that I make up here. You ask questions that's like, I feel like there's a communication gap. yes, you should focus on yourself. But I feel like it used to be both men and women were not really aware of that's my nephew, by the way. My son's back there as well. He knows when to ask me for snacks too, because he knows I'm busy right now. So men used to not be aware of the fact that women would go on a date with you just for food. Right? They used to not be aware of that. And when they weren't aware of it, they had no problem doing it. What's so shocking, Stella? What is surprising to you? We're too aware of like the strategies and the dark side of both sides. Like, in part, feminism has made women aware of like the dark nature of men, the shadow aspects of men, and they kind of overcorrect. And then the red pill has made men too aware of the shadow nature of women, and then they overcorrect, and it's caused both sides to start playing defense. Sounds like we're going into dates not trustful from the beginning. Exactly. Both sides are on defense. It's like they're just waiting for the other person to do some fuck shit. They're suspicious out the gate. It was better when we both were naive of the other side. Now we're both too aware of the other side. We're both too aware. And it's made both of us like very skittish and what's the word I'm looking for? Paranoid. I'll give you an example. Here's a perfect example. Your lady goes out of town, right? Your lady goes out of town, and then randomly she starts saying, like, professing her love for you in a way that she normally doesn't do. Used to be, you're just like, I love you too, babe. That's so sweet, right? Nowadays, us men know that a lot of times when women feel guilty, they'll try to absolve that guilt by telling you how much they love you. Right? Now, here's the thing. Sometimes she really is just saying how much she loves you. Right? But because now men know that, they'll read into that type of shit. It's just unhealthy now. It's unhealthy. So now if your lady was out of town, she says how much she loves you. Now you're assuming that she's doing that. You see what I'm saying? When really she's just saying how much she loves you. Like, look at what Groove just said, right? If you get that 2 a.m. I love you touch. It's like guys know that kind of stuff now. But again, it doesn't always apply. Right? Sometimes she's just telling you how much she loves you. But now the lesson is like, oh, if you see that, then immediately you must now assume this is what's going on. Like sometimes Shorty really did. She really was asleep. Sometimes she really didn't answer the phone because she was asleep. Sometimes that's true. Right? Super. So yeah, 100%. You have to look at like the context. The context matters. If she normally don't talk like that, then I would say, I always tell people changing behavior is always a red flag. It's like if she normally don't talk like that, and you getting that 2 a.m. I'm so thankful to have you text in the middle of nowhere. All right, now that's suspicious, right? That's suspicious. But if that's what she does, then it's like it shouldn't be suspicious. But there's no nuance when this type of advice is given. There's no nuance where there's advice given. But yeah, if she don't normally do that and she just out the blue, someone's absolving some guilt, it seems. She just left his crib. That's why nuance is so important. You gotta understand the nuance. You gotta understand the nuance. You got to understand the nuance. What ladies in the chat have sent one of those texts before? I'm curious. Which one of y'all sent that I love you so much text to someone you freshly cheated on? I know we got some women like that in the chat, for sure. Groove, did you mean to request? I've sent that I miss you before. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Who here has cheated before? How long should I wait for my boyfriend to find a job before leaving? How long has he been unemployed? To be honest with you, Sonny, I'm gonna be honest with you, love. 7 years I paid for his survival in LA. Sonny, I feel like you've already left. I looked at your bio. Your bio says, God first, I work a lot, I do not have kids, educated. That I do not have kids suggests you're already looking. You're essentially asking me, like, what's the timeline so you won't be a bad person? That I do not have kids sounds like you're positioning yourself for someone to showcase some interest in you. Because why else say that? Why does it need to be communicated that you don't have kids? It's like if somebody you were attracted to landed on your page, you want them to know you don't have kids in case they were interested. Something a single woman would say, or a woman who is looking for a potential mate would say, right? So it sounds to me you already mentally left the relationship. So if you already mentally left, just go ahead and leave. Just go ahead and leave. All right, what other questions? What last minute questions do we have before I get off here? I'm telling you, what's wrong with kids? Nothing's wrong with kids, but if you're looking for some new work, you might want to lead with that. Should I approach a guy like? You can just like talk to him. I wouldn't let him know that you're interested in him. That would be a little bit too direct, a little too masculine. But if you want to give him a compliment, or better yet, ask him for help of some kind, that'd be a better approach. Remember, the feminine approach is to create an opening. Elma was the only one who said that she cheated before. I know we got some other cheaters in the chat. Why y'all hiding? Why are y'all hiding? Y'all don't want to admit to cheating. Women are really bad with that, by the way. They're really bad with that. They're really bad with that. Does it count if she did it first? Yes, it counts. Okay, so I said I cheated. Okay. I couldn't cheat even if I wanted to because I second line and I get attached. All right. Okay. I was young and dumb, so another lifetime. Okay. All right. No judgment. We're all human here. We're all human. But women are really bad with that. Even like when I work with clients, like, you got to pull out of women that they cheated. You got to pull it out of them. Because some of them will like, they sometimes won't even call it cheating. Or they'll delete their own memory. they'll delete their own memory of like that cheating occurred. They try to water it down. Right. They're really like, they're worse with men with that. Like, I'm not saying men don't do that, but in my experience, just professionally, a lot of women do not like to admit they cheated ever. I had a woman say like, yeah, he caught me talking to another guy. He caught you talking to another guy? She was like, yeah. Did you sleep with him? Notice that. You want to have me believe that you just were caught talking to somebody else. Just conveniently ignoring that he was inside of you. Like, yes, you cheated. Okay, let's just get past that. They don't like him. Why do you think that is? Why do you think they have such a hard time admitting that? Erica, I saw your comment, love. You can stop spamming it now. I saw it. Three weeks and I do not hear from him. Okay. You want me to go find him or something? Like, what's the question? Want me to go hunt him down? Get my Liam Neeson on? It taints our view of ourselves? Exactly. 100%. Because sometimes, like, especially if you don't view yourself as a cheater as a woman, like if it was a woman who's cheated multiple times, she's more likely to be like, yeah, I cheated, right? Because now she's already kind of like identified with it a little bit. It's the woman who has never really done it before and didn't think she was the type to do it who struggles the most to admit it. No, if they tell you, it's actually a green flag because that means they've integrated the experience. That means they've integrated the experience, and you almost, a lot of my perspective goes against a lot of the manosphere. You almost want somebody who's made mistakes, who's have integrated it, because they're less likely to do it in the future. You pay a cost when you get someone who hasn't been through shit. because they may not know what they're capable of. They may not know what they're capable of. Right? So someone who's done some things and they own it and they can tell you like what they learned from it. They've integrated it, right? Exactly what Sweet Red just said. They may repeat because they don't know why. Right. They haven't gotten to the core of why they did it. Someone's trying to disown the behavior, disown the action. That's the dangerous person. Because their unconscious is driving them. And they're engaging in behavior without being consciously aware of what they're doing. Someone who was like, yeah, I cheated for this reason. Wish I didn't do it, but I realize now that the reason why I did that was blah, 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 blah. I can get down with that. I can't get down with the person who's like avoiding saying they've done it. Because now it's like, why are you avoiding that? Seems like you're not on one accord with yourself internally. There's a bit of cognitive dissonance at play. Look for cognitive dissonance, man. People who have high degrees of cognitive dissonance, they're not on one accord with themselves psychologically, which means they can't possibly be on one accord with you. Cognitive dissonance is a big one. It's one of the major red flags, actually. Major red flag. Major red flag. I see you trying to like disown some shit internally. I don't know about that. Just own what you did and move on. It's all right. We're human. But if you can't own it, you're probably going to do it again. Are you taking any more calls? No. But if you want your 1 hour coaching call, this icon right here, you can hit that button at the bottom of the screen, shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. And if I can help you, I will send you a link to book your 1 hour coaching call. Be advised, prices go up at the end of the month. So I would book now if I were you. Like people ask a lot of these questions with like dating and relationships. But in my experience, people are really bad at majoring in the minors. They major in the minors. They ask questions about little problems and don't focus on the big problems. Most of y'all's relationship issues are not necessarily because you were doing something wrong. It's because you chose wrong to begin with. That was your first mistake. You just chose the wrong person. And then that created a whole bunch of other issues. So you're looking at the issues that the original mistake created. Right? Like we fight all the time. How do we not fight all the time? It's like, that's not the real problem. That's a downstream effect. Your real problem was upstream. You chose the wrong motherfucker. So if you choose the wrong person, you're attempting to solve the wrong problem. You're solving problems that the original problem created. So where you should focus a lot of your attention outside of making yourself better is vetting, knowing how to vet people, knowing which people may be a bit rough around the edges, but they're still good people to invest in, and which people you will regret being with. You don't want to be super picky to the point where it's like you're looking for a perfect person. Perfection doesn't exist. But people can be a little rough around the edges. They can have some trauma. They can have some issues. But they still have the important things they can repair. They are congruent internally, right? There's not a lot of cognitive dissonance. They're trustworthy. Maybe they don't say things in the best way to you. Maybe they need to soften how they speak to you. Okay, that can be worked on, but they are honest with you. They're not avoiding conflict with you. I have zero patience for people who avoid conflict. In my experience, conflict avoidant people tend to not be trustworthy. They often will lie to you to avoid conflict. Their goal is always to avoid conflict. So they'll do whatever it takes to avoid said conflict. Sometimes that may mean just lying to you. Oh, I could tell him or her the truth, but that's going to create a fight. So let me just lie. No. No, 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 no. No, asking for some space is not a red flag. Asking for space is actually healthy because they're being direct. Them just taking space without telling you they need it is more of a red flag. My son's father is conflict avoidant. I just thought he had no issues and was easygoing. Right. That's how it comes across. You feel like these people are peaceful. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. If someone don't bring up conflict to you, so yeah, you have to put a big emphasis on reading people. That's just a skill you need for life, man. You got to be able to read people. You got to be able to read people. Not just for dating and relationships, for all of life. You have to be able to read people. So you can't do that? You can't read people? Well, it sounds like you need to schedule yourself a 1-hour coaching call by DMing me so I can ask you about your issue and then sending you over the link to book it. I can teach you how to read people. That's easy. Very easy. Probably my biggest strength is reading people. It's not hard for me. But you want to avoid, you can never like guarantee someone won't cheat on you, but you can lower the odds drastically by being able to read people. Another big helpful tip when it comes to reading people is not focusing so much on what they did, but why they did it. That's a huge one. People always discount that. It's not so much what they did. Why did they do it? What was the intention? That tells you everything. If you can get to that why, that tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything you need to know. That tells you everything. It takes practice, Coco. It also takes probably mentorship, right? That's why I offer coaching. Coaching is me lending you my discernment. And building you into a discerning person yourself. But yeah, I want to hear people's like inner motivations. Like, why did you do that? Okay. I don't really care too much that you cheated. Why did you cheat? Why did you do it? He wasn't showing me enough attention. Okay. So you're the type of person, if you feel like your needs aren't being met, it justifies you to do whatever you want to do. Bad person to invest in. Bad person to invest in. You hear somebody talk about getting their get back? Bad person to invest in. Or you're vengeful. And you feel like if somebody hurts you, you should now hurt them. Okay? Bad person to invest in. Stage 1 person. Very much a stage 1 person. How about if he was controlling, racist, and wouldn't let me break up, so I cheated? So here's the issue, Alma, right? I hear you, but here's the issue. When I hear a woman who is taking on the victim role, it doesn't move me because I know she chose that person. So all I hear is that you chose to be with a racist person and a controlling person. So my question would be, why were you with that person? You know? I wish women like knew that, because it's like a lot of women will start talking about how bad their exes are, and it's like, to discerning people, all you're telling me is like, that's your type. If I see you complain about a certain type of man, and it's like there's a pattern with the men that you're choosing, and you're just complaining about them, I'm like, well, that sounds like it's your type. You keep choosing them. It sounds like it's your type, for real. If all her exes were a piece of shit, she likely is a piece of shit. Water seeks its own level. Now, with that being said, if there's something that changed after she dated men like that, she got more introspective, started to self-reflect a bit more, started to work on herself. Okay, well now she's probably at a higher level, right? Like I always say that growth leaves evidence. If somebody truly has grown, there will be evidence of said growth. It's like biblically they say, judge them by their fruit, right? There will be a narrative that makes sense as to why they are now capable of choosing a better quality person. Things y'all choose to debate. What are you talking about, Maya? I hear you, Elma. Yeah, I'm not talking about you right now, love. I saw you said originally it was 10 years ago. I expect you're a completely different person now. So yeah. See, you go on a date with someone, they start doing that victim shit. Don't fall for it. But some men choose women like that because they have that savior complex. They got that savior complex. So they seek out women who have that sob story. You seek out women like that who just choose bad men, and you are good to her, she will make you pay for it. she'll likely start treating you bad. Generally, I'm not very forgiving, but I'm happy for women to hold me to equivalent standards. I hear you. I'm pretty forgiving, Isaac. It's got to make sense. I'm not like, that's not my default. It needs to make sense, right? Like nowadays, I will leave very quickly. I know when you should leave and when you shouldn't leave. So it's not much I would tolerate now. There are things I'll be patient with. There's other things where it's like one strike, you're out. Like for example, lying. I catch you lying about anything. One strike, you're out. One strike. A liar is going to always test you. They're going to always test you. I don't like liars. I don't like sneaky behavior either. If I get the vibe that you're sneaky, that's pretty much lying to me. I don't like it. I don't like it one bit. Liars do always test you, and when you connect the dots, they start stuttering, right? Liars are easy to deal with because they all typically have a tail. You never tell them what their tail is. Well, you should just leave them immediately before you can find out the tail. But in my experience, I've like stayed with liars for longer periods than I needed to. But you tend to, if you're an observant person, they'll have a tail. And then you build that RICO case. When you walk away from disrespect, you gain more respect for yourself and attract that respect. I agree with that. I agree with that for sure. Definitely agree with that. All right, people. I gotta get out of here. I have calls coming up. Again, if you want your 1 hour coaching call, this icon right here, hit that at the bottom of the screen. Shoot me a message. I'll ask you about your situation. If I can help you, I will send you a link to book your call. Reminder, prices are going up at the end of the month. All right. If you're new here, make sure to follow. I'll be live again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Appreciate the mods. Appreciate the chat. I will see y'all later. Take care.